What's happening, guys? Welcome to part 2 of my studio tour. Today, we're talking all things audio. So let's do this. What's happening, guys? Welcome in. My name as always is Dave Major, and if you're brand new here, thank you for checking my videos. Please do consider hitting subscribe because it really does help. Today is part 2 of our studio tour, where I'm just showing you around my YouTube drum online education studio. Now in part 1, we talked about all the construction, the walls, what I've done to soundproof, the general setup of what I've got going on in terms of the physical space. Today is all about the gear. We're talking about drums, we're talking about mics, heads, cymbals, interfaces, and Cubase as well. We're going to talk about what I record into. Let's start at the most sensible place for a drum channel, the drums. Now I'm a proud Natal endorsee, as you can see by my nice t-shirt, and I play a Cafe Racer series in all my videos. Now the Cafe Racer is a really interesting drum kit. Not only is it an awesome drum kit in its own right, but for my purposes, it actually serves kind of a dual purpose. Now, I need to keep things quite contained when filming. Now, drum kit is quite a large instrument, especially if you start adding extra toms and stuff. It can be hard to frame it effectively. You need a lot of space, a lot of like big, wide lenses. So actually I try to keep the kit quite small and compact so that I've got a bit more choice when framing things. But when you go smaller with the drums, the pitch goes higher, and I like my drums to be nice and low, and I like to feel that when you hit that floor tom, I like to feel it shake my leg. So the tulip wood of the Cafe Racers actually has a really low fundamental frequency. So even though I'm playing a 14-inch tom, it still sounds really low and really translates well on video. So I'm playing a 22 by 18. Yes, if you're in America, that's 18 by 22 bass drum, 10 by 8, or 8 by 10, and 14 by 14 floor tom. That's it. I'm keeping it nice and simple, nice 3-piece kit. On top of that, I've got a snare drum, which is a 14 by 6.5 split hammered steel, and that one sounds awesome. It's got enough depth and I can tune it up and down. I'm coming with a cool tuning video coming very soon, so make sure you hit subscribe and check that out when it is out on the channel. Cymbal wise, I'm a majority a Mino player. I don't have an endorsement, I just really love their cymbals and their brand and their ethos. So I'm starting with a 14-inch Jazz thin hats. Those are my absolute dream hi-hats. I've wanted them for about 5 years, and last year I got them, and I love them so much. They're amazing because you can flip them upside down and they sound badass. You can have them the right way around and they sound even better. They're just awesome all-around hi-hats. Crash-wise, I'm just playing one. I've got a 17-inch extra thin Jazz Crash, and then I've made a little X hat out of a 10-inch extra dry Splash and the top of a 10/12 Electro Stacks. Ride cymbal wise, I'm still playing that Impression 20-inch dry Jazz Ride. That is like doubling as an extra crash as well. So if I wanted a big sound, I can hit that as a crash, and I'm not limited by just having 2 cymbals. Heads wise, I'm an Evans endorsee as well. So I've got a G2 on the toms over G1, nice and simple. EMAD on the batter of the bass drum with just the stock reso, and then power center reverse over Hazy 300. Super normal. If you were to go and ask for drum heads in the drum shop, that's what they'd give you. Okay, let's talk about the mics. Now, the mics is a whole new area for me because all of the videos that I've done for the past like 5 years, I never had to buy mics because I was able to borrow mics, and that sometimes was amazingly expensive, like £1,000, £2,000 overheads and like 400 quid kick drums mics, and that's amazing, but then when you move to your own place, you kind of have to buy mics. So I did a lot of research, I did a lot of testing, and I've settled on a very simple, effective miking setup. I subscribe to the Mike Johnson idea that you should sound like you're in the room with me, and I don't want things to be too over-affected. Every little tom is mic'd up. So let's start on the kick drum. I've got a Beta 52A. That's a nice rounded, nice general purpose kick drum mic. I tried the D6, I tried the D112 and the little Sennheiser job, basically the 4 big ones. And I settled on that one because I felt that it was more rounded and it gave me more scope. If I want to put a jazz kit, it's going to sound good. If I want to mic up a really low floor tom, I can. On the bass drum, we've got a Beta 57, and that's really hypercardioid, so it's keeping out all that hi-hat spill. It gives me a very nice direct snare drum mic sound. And then for the overheads, I've got a pair of Octava MK012s, and they were highly recommended to me. They are awesome mics. I love the sound of them. They look cool, they've got a lovely brushed steel effect, I really like it. And the cool thing about them is I can swap out the capsules. So at the moment it's a cardioid capsule, kind of standard. And I could buy a figure of 8 capsule, which means that if I wanted to have an interview where I could put the mic in the middle, it would pick up both of us. I just find them really, really nice mics, and I'm really, really happy with them. The only other mic that I'm using is this lapel mic. You can see it here. And it is a Comica Amazon job. Lo and behold, with a bit of EQ, it sounds very, very, very good. So that's my miking setup. That is very simple. Again, keeping it nice and simple for mixing purposes, but also for giving you a nice representative sound of the drum kit. All of that gets fed on cables above the ceiling and all the way over to here. And underneath this desk behind me is my interface, and that is a Behringer XR18. Now, I would highly recommend this interface to you if you are looking for a useful interface for recording drums, and I'll tell you why 2 reasons. Firstly, it is 16 inputs or 16 mic inputs, and that means you can record a massive, massive drum kit. You can have loads of stuff running and that thing will handle it because it's got enough inputs. Now the second, which most important reason why I recommend it and why I really, really like it is that it is app controlled, which means I can sit behind the drum kit and affect all the levels. I can change any setting on the app. I can set gates, EQs, input levels. I can do all that all from behind the drum kit on my phone. And that's one of the hard parts about recording drums, is that there's basically 4 jobs and you need to do all 4 of them at the same time, and play drums. All of that through the interface is going into Cubase. Now I've used Cubase for almost 20 years, so I'm very, very comfortable using it, but I think any DAW is perfect for the purposes of recording drums, filming drums, and putting content out there. So that's the audio setup. That's the drums, that's the cymbals, the heads, the mics, the interface, and the DAW I'm using. So I hope you like this video. I hope you like this tour of all the audio equipment I'm using to create these videos. If you did, please hit like, hit subscribe, you know what to do, and I'll see you in part 3, where we're talking all about cameras, lights, and editing software. I'll see you then.